good evening, or, who knows, morning, afternoon, wherever it is. We're going to be doing some eating and drinking tonight. And for me, we're going to be hopefully conquering a pairing that I've been having some challenges with in the past. It's an Argentinian style dish. It has a chimichurri, which is very bold in flavor, excellent, but it's not necessarily the best wine kind of food. Doesn't mean that it doesn't go well with wine. It's just that maybe it's better with a mixed drink. I don't know. I'm a wino, so I'm going to take this challenge on, and hopefully I can conquer it. So it's going to be a New York strip with a dry brine, and you do that overnight. I'll give you the recipe afterwards, but basically, you put a rub on it, you let it sit in the fridge overnight, kind of dehydrates it, extracts the flavors out, and then you sear the heck out of it the next day, and you have that chimichurri on the side, and oh boy, is it delicious. Now, originally, I had thought, well, maybe a Spanish or a Portuguese wine, which I'm sure would be fine, absolutely. But I just kept thinking I needed something with a little more backbone to it. And finally hit me where I'm like, you know what? Serious Syrahs have really good backbone, but also that really nice extracted fruit flavors that can pair with, a really good steak. But maybe it can handle that chimichurri, which just kind of like blasts, your palate away and kind of just overpowers any wine that you're drinking. So that's why I went with this Cote Rotie. It is Vignobles Shiraz La Rose Brune 2018. Now, this is 100% Shiraz, which is pretty common in the Rhone area, especially Cote Rotie. It's a Viognier and Syrah is pretty much the only thing that you're allowed if you're that AOC at least dictated, and they do abide by that. This is a really small, this family-owned vineyard. The winemakers, father and son, really, into like cultivating the land, letting the terroir just sing through these wines. That's what I had read about. I have not had this yet. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get into the wine a little bit right now. I'm going to go back, cook the dish, and then we're going to pair with it and see, where we're at as far as pairing goes. And we'll also let this breathe a little bit more because these things need a lot of time. And I just kind of just popped this about 20-30 minutes ago. What I really want to do is decant it for an hour or two minimum, because 2018 for a Cote Rotie is actually just a baby. So you can age this thing 10-15 years, no problemo. So let's give this one a little shot, see at least where we're at, flavor profile, structure, things of that nature. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had some shine off the pops. That's, like I said, southern central Rhone. They have a little more Mediterranean influence to where Cote Rotie has the Mistral and more challenging kind of environment and weather patterns and terroir and everything that give winemakers a real, fits. So sometimes with that, though, it can be a little more terroir driven and a little more serious. And that's kind of why I chose this one, because I thought it might have a little more backbone to it, along with those really nice fruit flavors. Let's give it a little sniffy sniff, see what's going on in here. Yeah, Syrah just always kind of jumps from the glass. Wow, that's really interesting, actually. This could be fun. There is a spice component that is just attacking me right now. Wow, I don't know, because what I read about this wine, it does have a lot of neutral oak, so I know it's not that spicy oakiness. I think this is really kind of the terroir-driven oak, terroir-driven spices, not oaky spice. Currenty, black fruits, really, really big black fruits coming through. It's almost there's like a licorice in there. Wow. Maybe a touch of, oh man, I don't know. This is a really complex nose. This is actually kind of all right, you need to sit down and take some serious notes with this one, because there's every time I go back in, there's something else that I'm picking up on. It's there's eucalyptus, there's mintiness. Now I'm smelling, I'm just man, a Moroccan style lamb might just be about perfect with this. Wow. If the palate is anywhere near as good as that nose, I am in for a treat. It's kind of what I thought. There is definitely a really nice tannic grip to it. A little bit of like a dusty soil action going on. Wow. And then, I mean, the fruits just come rolling in on the finish in the mid palate. I don't know, I want to say a hint of blueberry, but it's definitely like the currant, plum, blackberry. You get those dark fruits just singing through here. Oh man, it is very coinciding with the nose for sure. Because you have that spice. And there's definitely that spice on the palate as well. But very terroir driven, a lot of good earthiness to it. Ooh, wow. This thing is really serious and it's drinking really good right now. I can't imagine what 10 years would do to this wine. This would be, man, in the high 90s for me. Maybe I'm getting a little too overexcited just because I think I may have nailed this one. And this might be perfect with that chimichurri. We will see later, and we will come back and we'll do a little taste, a little bite of steak, dip it in the chimichurri, see what happens with this wine. Give it a little more time, blow a little of that alcohol off. But wow, there is so much going on in this bottle. I'm really excited. This is absolutely exceeded my expectations. I did not know it would be this serious of a wine. I thought it'd be some good backbone, some good structure, with a little bit of playfulness to it, but this thing's not messing around. Dublin says no play here. All seriousness. I should have wore a tie for this one. Yeah, the finish. Nice, bright acidity. Tannins. Oh, the black fruits just really, really big, but perfectly balanced. When I say big, I mean as in body, not as in just like jammy extraction. It's not jammy at all. It really is serious. It's really well made. You can tell that these winemakers, that father and son, just do a heck of a job cultivating that vineyard. You know they're dropping fruit to get this kind of flavor and extraction. I bet these vines have some age to them too, because they're getting down into that soil and just bringing out that complexity. So this is really, really phenomenal wine. Highly, highly recommend it. And we'll be back in a little bit. It'll just be a quick cut for you, and we'll do a little taste of that chimichurri and that steak. See what's going on here. I think it'll be pretty darn good. All right, we're back, and we have our beautiful New York strip with our chimichurri sauce and our Cote Rotie that has been airing out a bit. We'll see if anything else has opened up and changed since we, about an hour. Pretty consistent still. Maybe a little more of that berry coming through versus that spice and earth, but it's still definitely there. Just gorgeous. There's almost like a little bit of dusty cocoa with dark berry, currant, plum. Just really, really tasty. Very complex. So far, I think it's just an absolutely spectacular wine. Highly recommended. Some people may ask, Argentinian food, why wouldn't you go with Malbec? Well, that's a good question. And there is nothing wrong with going with a Malbec. A lot of regions have a tendency to make their wine to go with the kind of foods they make. But in this case, I felt like this might be a better pairing, bring a little more sophistication. Malbec to me sometimes can be slightly one-dimensional. Not to mention, it's not always easy to find a good Malbec. You can find, the $10, $15 ones, but to get something, that's kind of crafted and a little more care put into it, like this bottle. For me, it has not been easy. You really got to find that specialty shop that goes out of their way to go to Mendoza and, you know, source some really good wines. That's where I'm coming. That's where I wanted to try this. So let's not hesitate any longer. Let's get a nice little bite of that perfectly cooked, medium rare New York strip. Get a little dab of that chimichurri, which I make fresh. Super easy, by the way, chimichurri. You get that Italian parsley, garlic, olive oil, some red pepper flakes, some oregano. Did I already say garlic? I hope so. And red wine vinegar. Mix it up the night before, let it sit in the fridge covered. The next day, it is going to be just, you're going to blow people away. Like, wow, this is so flavorful. It smacks you in the face. Chimichurri. It's really, really a good dish. Super easy, and it brightens up a lot of just like basic things. So let's see. Oh yeah, wow. It totally stands up to that chimichurri. And you know what's interesting is because there is some red pepper flake and there's, you know, a decent amount of garlic in it, chimichurri has a little snap to it, a little pop. It's not spicy, but it's got a little pop to it. And this has a little pop to it as well. A little bit of spice. And just that heavy bodied wine just really can stand up to this pretty well. I think it's a pretty good pairing. I don't know if I'm completely sold that this is the answer, that there's no other better wine out there. I'm going to keep looking, but I'm going to say that this is pretty darn good pairing. I'm not hating it at all. There's nothing that's like really battling each other. So much zing to that. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty darn good. I'm gonna go with it. I hope you enjoyed this video and you maybe learned a few things about, you know, Syrahs out of France, Cote Rotie, Rhone Valley, and pairing something that maybe not many people would really think of. Argentinian, oh, let's go to the Rhone and get a Cote Rotie. Probably not something most sommeliers or whoever is really thinking of. It's like, oh, get a Malbec or get a Spanish wine or, you know, whatever it may be. Maybe even a Zin. You know, Zin's spicy, but to me, Zin's a little sometimes over extracted and a little bit too cherry, I thought. So, I don't know. Like I said, nothing's clashing here. It's not a perfect marriage, but man, it really does go well. I would say that, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, as far as like a pairing goes, I'd give it a solid 7 to 8-ish, maybe. You're not hitting a home run, but man, no one's going to be disappointed, especially with how good this wine is. This alone is going to save anyone that doesn't think this is good pairing. But honestly, I think this is pretty solid. So go out there, get yourself a bottle, Cote Rotie, expand your horizons, enjoy yourself, treat yourself, because you know what? Gosh darn it, you deserve it. So cheers, everyone.